Yo, what's up guys? This is tiensiNoAkuma here with another, well actually, the same game as before. I am re-uploading a less laggier version of it. Something was wrong with my computer and I have increased the power on my laptop so it will not lag as before. Anyways, I thought I would start out by getting away with some of the common questions that everyone's asking. These questions I usually ask all the time, even though I do answer these questions. I'll answer them many times, so I guess I'll get them through with right now. So one question a lot of people ask is, why don't you get Gunblade on Katarina? Gunblade used to be a good item on Katarina. No longer is it a good item, primarily because you no longer need it for your ult. The main reason why people had it in the first place was for that extra slow. Actually, let's watch this and I'll explain later. Actually, never mind. So you needed that 3 second 50% slow on Gunblade so you can have a full 3 second duration ult on Katarina. Katarina's ult before the nerf, before the changes, was ridiculous. Her ult would deal 600 damage, 680 damage actually, if you get a full ult off. Now, as you can see here, if I click on Katarina and I go to her R, you can see it only deals 400 damage. The reason why Katarina's ult used to do 600 damage was because 680 damage was if you included the W on Katarina, which gave her 8 damage per hit. So 8 times 10 would be 80, so 600 used to do 680 damage compared to now 400. So it is no longer worth having a Gunblade to guarantee quote-unquote a full ult. Anyways, the ult already has been reduced down to 2 seconds from a 3 second duration, so there really is no reason for you to need a big slow to guarantee a good ult, because your ult no longer is your main source of damage. They added an extra skill on Katarina in order to replace the damage output that you lose from your ult. So just that's the first and main reason why I no longer get Gunblade on her, and also on top of that, they reduced attack damage ratios on Katarina significantly. They did it on purpose because they said that Katarina, AP Katarina and AD Katarina both play the same way, so there's no reason for Riot to give her like options two different options to build, because in the end they're all going to be the same thing. So that's why they nerfed AD. So not only is the slow no longer yet necessary on Gunblade, for Katarina, it is also weaker now on Katarina. So the only reason why you would ever get Gunblade now is just for lane sustain, which is pretty insignificant, especially after the changes on Cat. Your Q spell no longer can hit at max damage per hit, so first of all, you gain less HP now from using Gunblade. And on top of that, her W spell is an AoE spell, so basically all AoE spells heal you for less HP, like about 50% less spell vamp than single target damage spells do. So either way, Katarina's spell vamp is already bad in the first place, so there's no reason to try to supplement it. If you do the math, 2 health pots for 30 gold can easily make up for 300 HP healed, which is probably a lot more than you could probably heal from getting a revolver. And I'm talking about in lane, not necessarily in team fights. Of course you can probably heal a lot in team fights, but that's late game. In late game you want more damage, and the best item for that would be DFG, which has right now replaced my Gunblade. I no longer get Gunblade on Katarina, I get Deathfire Grasp. So simply because Deathfire Grasp is an excellent source of damage output on Katarina. That active effect on DFG at late game is about 47 to 50% of the enemy's current HP just with one item, and that is extremely significant and really helps Katarina out for that extra burst damage she needs in order to get her passive off. Now, another question people are always asking me, and they never stop asking me, is why do you max Q first instead of W? The thing about Q is that it is a reliable source of damage, it is a reliable source of harassment, and a reliable source of farming. When you're playing against a champion like Cassiopeia or Orianna or other champions that have very good range poke against Katarina, you can't walk up and W. If you walk up and try to W, you're going to get harassed and you're only going to take unnecessary damage output. So by maxing Q first, you not only lower the cooldown, you make it easier for yourself to farm. Now on top of that, by maxing Q first, you make it easier to harass. As you can see here, I'm continually harassing Karthus whenever my Q is up. And it's a lot harder to land Ws, as you can see here. If I get within a certain range, your enemy is usually going to back off, and it's going to be a lot harder to land those Ws. It's a lot more reliable to land Qs on someone else when you're harassing them. Not only that, Qs hit harder than W does. And as I was saying, your Q spell does 15 more damage per level than your W spell does. So your burst damage is increased if you max Q first, and that's what I want. I want more damage output, and that's why I pick up my Q first. Now, some people may be wondering that maxing Q first makes it harder to farm. It doesn't make it too much harder to farm. It is easier to farm when you're in a easy matchup like this, Karthus, by maxing W first, but after level 8, level 7, it doesn't make that much of a difference. This farming power is still about the same, so... yeah. Alright, any other questions that I get asked all the time? Oh yes, when to build DFG and when not to build DFG. So you'll see in a lot of my games, sometimes I rush a DFG and sometimes I don't rush a DFG. This is primarily based on my lane enemy. If I'm playing against a champion like Karthus here, who I can... whoa, what's going on bot? Who I can... oh, I got him. Ignite. If I'm playing against a champion mid who I can 1v1 and kill them in one full burst, if I can DFG, Q, E, W, ult, and then ignite them and kill them in one burst, then I will pick up a DFG. But if I'm playing against a champion who counters Katarina and is pretty tanky, then and I can't guarantee a kill, then there's no reason for me to pick up a DFG. The only reason why I would rush DFG is just to guarantee one kill, or I mean, guarantee a kill. The thing about DFG is it increases your single target damage, but it is not worth it for team fights. Early game, especially early game. The reason why is DFG, after you buy the lucky pick, costs about 1825 gold, 1,825 gold. And if you compare that to just a needlessly large rod for 1,600 gold, you're getting 80 AP from a needlessly large rod, while you're getting what? 55 AP from 1,800 gold. You're losing about 25 AP worth of gold, and it only weakens you in terms of team fighting power. So that's why I want to pick up a hat first if I'm not doing too well in lane, or if I can't guarantee a kill, because that will make my AoE power in a team fight more higher. It'll increase my AoE damage output, which will make it easier for me to snowball off in team fights and kill the enemy. Now, let's see, other questions that people ask. I keep forgetting. I'm just going off my head right now of the questions that people ask. Some people do pick up Hextech Revolver. Again, as I said earlier, the thing about Hextech Revolver is you don't heal that much on Cat, and you're better off picking up a... You're better off picking up a 2 health pots to make up for that heal. And also on top of that, you no longer need Gunblade. I don't think there really is anything else. There probably is, but I don't really remember. Anyways, now back to the situation here. I'm still farming, as you can see. Farming all day. And then whenever I see Karthus come up, whenever my Q's off cooldown, I go and harass him with my Q. It's a lot more reliable, and I don't have to worry too much about ganks. If I walk up too close with my W spell, then it'll be easier for Blitzcrank to gank me on the side. So, anyways. Jace is invading top. I did not see this triple gank coming. Luckily, I shimboed onto Jace. He knocked me back, and I just flashed away. Perfectly fine. I almost walked into that grab. So triple gank top. He didn't call MIA. Stupid Heshinshin. Alright, let me turn on chat. How do I turn on chat? Is this it? Interface visibility. Toggle help dialog. Where's the... Somebody told me this is where the chat option was. Video. Interface. That's not it. More options. Show all chat. Alright. Is it around here? Toggle help dialog. Whoa, what just happened there? Alright. Oh, there we go. Found it. Yay. Oh, you see that? Alright. Oh, I guess I can talk a little bit about Xin. Some people are also asking about that, since I kind of mained him now whenever Cat's banned or whatnot. Lately, I've been trying a lot of different builds on him. On Jace. I'm guaranteed that she's dead, so I don't chase after her, because I know my Ignite will finish her off. Luckily, I get a good heal from Alistar, which barely saves my life. But either way, we're not in a great spot. We need to get out as quickly as possible. At this moment in time, I tell my team, get out, get out, get out. We don't know where Karthus is. This is dangerous, so we get out in time for Karthus. Did Karthus ult already? Yeah, he did. I don't even know when he ulted. But anyways, one thing people ask is, what do you build on Xin? Well, I have no idea. I've been trying everything. I mained Infinity Edge, and now after playing a ton of games with Xin and getting Infinity Edge, I've realized that the problem with Infinity Edge on Xin is that it takes too long to build, and by that time, team fights have already begun. And just with a team fight, just with one Infinity Edge and team fights, you're gonna be extremely squishy, especially as an AD carry, and that will cost Xin his life, and he won't be able to get as much hits in as he would like to in team fights. So, in the end, I mean, summary is just quickly, Infinity Edge just costs too much, and so it's not cost effective for Xin Zhao. So I'm trying new things. Lately, I've tried going Hashinshin's Xin build, which is full tank. He goes Sunfire Cape and Wit's End and a Trinity Force. It's extremely tanky. It's a good build, but it doesn't have what I want. What I want in my champion is the ability to take out and assassinate the AD carry. Well, not necessarily assassinate, but take him out. And the thing with Hashinshin's build, it's really unreliable in terms of killing your enemy. You gotta sit there and auto attack them all day. And against a good player, they can get away from that. Good players can disengage and get away out of get out of Xin Zhao's range, even though Xin may have Trinity Force for the extra movement speed. In the end, it's just unreliable damage output. It does give the tankiness that I'm looking for, but it doesn't give me the damage output that I'm looking for. So I have been trying picking up Youmuu's first. Youmuu's is much cheaper than Infinity Edge. It's actually about 1,500 gold cheaper if you include the gold that you gain from getting the Avarice Blade. And also that makes it easier for me to pick up a GA faster, which will increase my tankiness in a team fight. So I've been trying that, and it's actually been working out very well. I don't think I've lost a game yet getting Youmuu's first, so that's that. So try getting Youmuu's and then building my standard build, which is GA and then a physical damage item, which would maybe be a Bloodthirster, and then more defensive items and then whatnot. Either way, we'll see. I'll eventually figure it out. Also, a lot of people are always asking me about the status of my Katarina guide. I'm still trying to pick up good clips to make a guide, but you guys just gotta be patient. Eventually, I'll have it done. Main issue is that I'm really busy with schoolwork, so it's hard for me to if I concentrate and really wanted to make one, I would make it pretty quickly, maybe in like 2 weeks. But I don't know, I've been quite busy lately, have not been able to do that. Anyway, so I go bot, I kill 3 of them, and a lot of people are always asking me, oh yeah, I answered this in the previous video. People always ask me, when do I know when I should leave my lane and go help my team? There are 2 ways for you to know if you should go help another lane. And here they are. The first thing is if you can guarantee a kill. If you can go to another lane and guarantee that you can pick up a kill, or at least help your teammates get a kill, then without your they guarantee a kill, then yes, maybe you should leave the lane, so long as you don't lose anything else. Like for example, there's a ton of creep. That was a terrible place to go back card this. If there are a ton of creep on a turret and you're going to lose all of that creep, it might not be worth it to leave a lane. But on the other hand, if you push all of the creep up, for example right now I push all of the creep up here, and if there were no jungle camps here for me to take, I would go top and I would go gank Jace. This is another time for you to go gank another lane when you have nothing else to do. When your minions are all pushed up to the turret and you have no jungle camps to take, then that's a good time to leave your lane and go gank another lane. The reason why is because if you go gank another lane, you're not missing out on farm, you're not missing out on anything. You're trying to make plays when you have the time to do so. That's just being conservative with time. If and your resources, for example, if you leave a lane while it's getting pushed by minions, you're missing out. You're missing out on creep and free farm and free levels, and going to another lane where you can't guarantee a kill. So yeah, just those 2 situations are when you should go gank another lane. Just when it's easy and guarantee a kill, and when you have nothing else to do. So he pulled it over the wall to take blue buff. That's pretty funny. I guess it makes it faster. The thing about Blitzcrank, alright, some people may be wondering, the thing about Blitzcrank jungle is that it is unreliable for many reasons. Blitzcrank can't farm jungle camps as well as other junglers can. Right, there's something going on there, something going on here. By the way, notice how I ping myself? I keep pinging myself and telling Hashinshin that I am coming for him, coming to help him out, and then he chooses to walk this way. So when someone on your team, when you want to go help someone on your team, ping it on the map, tell them that you're coming, And you just gotta hope that they make the right decision. Hashinshin did not make the right decision. He walked the wrong way. Had he walked toward me earlier, I think we may have been able to pick up a kill on that and turn it around. But unfortunately, that did not occur. And there's a ward. I see this ward getting put down, so I know that I can't really rely on that area. I mean, I rely on going through this area. If I go through this area, then I will be seen by the ward. He can call the MIA bot, and bot lane will be prepared for me. So it's always good to keep in mind the location of wards. And I hope he doesn't walk where he shouldn't be walking. Yep, there we go. Should walk where he shouldn't be walking. Yeesh. Notice how whenever I go in for the kill, I never walk straight at them. I go to the side, I walk sideways-ish, so it doesn't really seem like I have the intent of killing them. And then, as I get closer, as I walk to the side, when you walk to the side, you're getting close. This is something a lot of martial artists would understand. When you're circling your opponent, you'll eventually get closer to your opponent as you circle them. And that's exactly what I'm doing, and that's exactly what a lot of higher level players do when they're playing a champion. They kind of circle their opponent in the sense that they walk to the side, and as they're walking to the side, they're slowly getting closer to them. They're not getting closer as quickly as they would if they walk directly at them, but it gives the enemy the illusion that they aren't being closed in on. Which is exactly why this technique is also used in martial arts as well, and during sparring matches, etc. But anyways, so I keep saying anyways. I can't kick that habit. It's like drugs, man. I have to say anyways, or else I can't live. Can't live with myself. So as you can see here, I'm 6-0. Even though my teammates gave 3 kills early game, we are slowly catching up in terms of kills and gold after all of that mess up. And primarily the reason why is because of Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank, I don't think I finished my spiel, but Blitzcrank, he doesn't clear waves that well, so he can't jungle too quickly. He's going to get out-leveled by the enemy jungler if it's a reliable enemy jungler. And on top of that, his ganks aren't really that potent. You have to land your grab in order to guarantee a good gank, and that grab is extremely difficult to land against good players. Let's go back and see that again so you guys can laugh at this Karthus. So yeah, that's the main reason why a lot of other junglers have much more reliable sources of damage ganking power. Like for example, Alistar jungle or Shaco jungle, their ganks are a lot more potent. They don't have to rely on a skill shot in order to get a good gank in. Actually, who did I say? I just said Alistar and Shaco. Yeah, they have no skill shots that they need to rely on to have a threatening gank. If Blitzcrank isn't able to land a grab, then he will have a much more difficult time ganking for his opponent, and that's why he's an unreliable ganker and an unreliable jungler, because he can't farm too well. So that's why you'll never see a Blitzcrank jungle most of the time in tournament play or higher level play. But here we go, let's watch this. We pick up Blitzcrank, and then as you can see here, I go in on Jace, and guess what my teammates do? Let's not help Cat. Let's go chase after the people that are already gone, and let's not chase after the person who is cut off from any form of escape. This is just bad play on my team's part. You should always go after the player that is easier to kill. If the kill isn't guaranteed, you should always go after him. And it wasn't guaranteed. I didn't deal enough damage to take him out. They should have known that. And unfortunately, I got myself killed because I had no help with me. And they chased after these guys, and they didn't pick up any kills at all. So yeah, just a little side note. Oh, one more thing. So you'll see here that I was playing against Karthus. A lot of people are always asking what Katarina counters. Katarina counters Karthus and Morgana. The thing about Karthus is the reason why I always have to say the same thing, but the reason why Katarina counters Karthus and Morgana is because she counters champions that have no reliable form of harass, no mobility, and no reliable form of hard CC. Morgana does have hard CC with her root and ult, but they can't stop Katarina's ult. Some people are probably going to say, Morgana can stop Katarina's ult with her ult. Yeah, but her ult still takes about 3 seconds to set up. I think that's how long it takes. And by the time the stun goes off on Morgana's ult, Katarina's ult is already finished. I mean, they've reduced the timer on Katarina's ult to 2 seconds, so Morgana's not going to get her stun off before Katarina finishes her ult. So that is an invalid argument, even though people will always say that. Now, so this guy picked himself into a counter pick, because I first picked Cat, and he got last pick, so he got to choose whether or not he wanted to counter pick me or play a champion that he would be comfortable with. Now here's the thing, a lot of people always get conflicted on what they should pick in terms of champion and champion selects. Some people are more versatile, they can play more champions, and my tip for you is if you get second pick and you know who you're playing against in lane, you're better off picking a champion that doesn't get countered. For example, if you have a good champion pool, by the way, I notice how they're missing on the map here, and I'm just like, Sivir's here, and they're not on the map. I think they might be taking Baron. So I pop a ward over the wall, we see this, and Hashinshin, being the stupid kid that he is, goes in when Baron is at half HP. You should never ever go in when you know the enemy is taking Baron when it's at half HP and you can't guarantee a full-on ace without some form of retaliation. So had Hashinshin gone in later, we may have been able to steal Baron, and even if we wouldn't have stolen Baron, they would have taken more damage from Baron, a lot more damage from Baron, and it would have been easier for us to take him out and finish them off and pick up an ace like this. There we go. And I probably would not have died. So, and we would have gotten Baron. There's also a chance that we could have stolen Baron as well. So, again, I've said this multiple times. If someone else is taking Baron, don't go in too early. Wait a little bit so that they take more damage from Baron before you go in. Now, I was saying something before, but I completely forgot. Oh yes, when you get second pick against a champion who you know you're playing against in lane, you have two choices. You can either counter pick them or play a champion you're more familiar with them. So the thing is, by the way, this Hecarim is really stupid. He goes to farm creep when his teammates are in trouble. Whenever you can guarantee that you can help your teammates out, go help them. You see what he did here? He did not help his teammates. He went to go take farm. That Wraith Camp is not worth losing 300, or actually more than that. 475 times 2 would be what, 950? He basically gave the enemy 950 gold by not helping his teammates out. In exchange for that, what did he do? He picked up a little Wraith Camp. Did he even finish it? Yeah, he finished it. He picked up one Wraith Camp and let his teammates die. And on top of that, we all got aced, simply because he had not helped his teammates. So a really bad habit is to not pay attention to the map and not help your teammates out. So just a little tip, always help your teammates out whenever you have the ability to do so. Now, I'm never going to be able to finish what I was going to say. So when you get to choose whether or not you want to play a counter pick champion or a champion you're more familiar with, you're better off picking the it's based on what champion you want to play. For example, what happened here was I'm playing Cat. This Karthus had the choice of counterpicking me with LeBlanc or Kassadin, or playing a champion that he's familiar with, which is in this case Karthus. I would never recommend for you to play a champion that you are more familiar with when you're getting completely counterpicked, unless you can guarantee that you're better than the opponent and that you can beat them even though you're getting counterpicked, which is extremely difficult at higher elo because everyone's at about the same level of skill. So never pick yourself into a counterpick if you have the option of doing so, and that's what happened here. Karthus, even though he may know how to play Karthus, he still put himself in a counterpick lane and lost his lane because of it. So just a tip for picking champions while you're in champion select. Alright. So Xin is just free farming top, and I told my teammates we can't fight this, back off, go back to the turret, we gotta defend the turret, even though it's a 4v5, and I don't really think we can defend this. So, because we don't have a Shinshin, we lose this turret and do not contest it. It's dangerous for me right now. It's about 25 minutes in the game. I'm still as strong as ever, but I'm slowly... Most mages, after 30 minutes into the game, they start to fall off in terms of damage output. And in exchange, the AD carries are the ones who become stronger. So, that's what's going on right now. Look at the score right now. I'm 11-3-1. Look at my teammates. 3-4-4, 0-4-5, 3-3-7. I'm the only one who's positive on the team. So because of this, I am playing extremely cautious. The moment I get caught out and killed, my teammates have no one to carry them, no one to deal the damage output and finish the job. So that's why I'm playing as cautious as possible. You'll notice that. Alright, so you see here, I walk up top and I see Karthus and I jump over the wall and I take him out immediately. And then I get chain stunned and I get killed by Corki, but fortunately I'm able to get a lot of damage out and was able to kill 2 of them while my teammates finished the rest of them. So that was definitely worth it for us. This is exactly what I want. This is exactly what you want to do when you're playing a mage. and it gets later into the game, you want to still do a lot of work in team fights, but you want to start giving the kills off to your AD carry, because he's going to be the one, or she in this case, Sivir, is going to be one who's carrying you at a late game, because that's when AD carries shine the most. So just from that team fight, you see that Sivir just picked up 3 kills. From 0, he was originally 0, 4, and 7. He just picked up 3 kills just from that one team fight. That's exactly what you want. Now, this thing is a little bit dangerous, taking Baron right now. Even though the enemy is not near enough to stop it, everyone's pretty low on HP, and it's kind of hard to tank that. So it's a little bit dangerous. They'll get this. You guys already know they get this if you guys already watched this before, but we'll pick it up. And really good job on Mr. Alisar's part on knocking him back. You see here that Hecarim was one who picked up the Baron buff. That's because he has 2 levels on Blitzcrank, and this is what I meant when I said that Blitzcrank can't farm too well. Hecarim, even though Blitzcrank picked up 1 kill or 2 kills and 2 assists from early game, he still got out-leveled by Hecarim. And that may have been because he has a harder time ganking. Blitzcrank has a harder time ganking and harder time farming in the jungle, and that's why he got out-leveled. And because he got out-leveled, his smite was a lot weaker, and because of that, Baron got taken. Now, let's go back a little bit from my position. You guys got to see how I'm playing this as Katarina. So I see here that my teammates are in trouble. So I come up top to help them out. I ping it. I tell Xin to go in. And here we go. I'm going to follow with Xin. I'm not going to go help Hecarim. I'm going to help out Xin, because I can guarantee kills a lot. I can guarantee a kill much easier by helping my teammate out than I can by soloing Karthus and Blitzcrank. Always try to stick with your teammates, and that's exactly what I did here. I stuck with Xin Zhao, even though I could have gone after Blitzcrank and Karthus top lane instead of Jace and Leona, I think. By the way, you notice here, I popped down 2 wards down and shimpoed onto them to catch up to Blitzcrank, and because of this, I was able to take him out. And after taking him out, I'm able to take out Karthus and ace it. Alright, so that's another tip right there. Everyone already knows. Always have an extra ward on you when you're playing Katarina. It always helps for running away or chasing after people. And as you can see here, these 2 wards were the main reasons why I was able to kill Blitzcrank and Karthus. That was 150 gold spent to buy wards for 600 gold. So it's definitely worth it. That's why it's always a good habit to pick up wards. And when you're playing Cat, it's always good to keep those wards. Keep 1 ward on you. Don't keep too many wards on you, because you got to use them. If you buy wards and you don't use them, and you just save them, it kind of goes to waste. So there's a line between knowing whether or not you should put a ward down and whether or not you should keep the ward. It's hard to learn it, but you'll eventually, once you get a better sense of the game, you'll know when you should put down a ward and when you should keep a ward on Katarina. Like, for example, what happened earlier was I had a ward on me, and instead of keeping it to save it for a Shimpo jump, I put it over here and put it onto Baron, and we saw them Baroning, and we were able to counter the Baron and pick up an ace for 1 death. And that's because I chose to put down the ward instead of saving it. And it's all based on objectives. How important is this ward? Is this ward worth more to me by knowing whether or not they are taking Baron, or is it worth more to me by guaranteeing that I have some form of object to jump the Shimpo onto? It's all based on priorities. But anyways, back to the situation. Hashinshin here got caught. I go in and I ping it and tell him that I'm going to help him out, but I can't because he's too far away now. Karthus just went back to heal, and there's 5 people bot. Because of that, we were able to take out a free turret, and I think we took Dragon. I don't know where Alistar was coming from, but I don't like. It wasn't really wasn't worth it for Hashinshin to die, but we were able to pick up a ward and pick up a turret in exchange here. There we go. But as we continue on with this, ooh, so Blitzcrank's here. I am not in any position, so I ping my teammates and tell them to back out, which is what happened. Oh, by the way, if you look at chat right now, Hecarim. I thought it was pretty funny when he said that. The analogy of a duffel bag. I am the duffel... No, they are the duffel bag, and I'm the person carrying the duffel bag. And my team still isn't positive at all. Oh well, stuff like this happens. Oh yeah, people are always asking me... Not always, but there's always going to be some people asking me that what champions are good to what champions are good and at lower elo, and the best champions at lower elo are champions who can carry. Like, for example, Katarina is an excellent pub stomper at lower elo. She carries a lot harder than many other champions in the game, primarily because of her passive. As you can see here, even though my top lane lost, even though my bot lane had some issues, and even though we started out 3-0, I am able to carry my team out, and now we're at an advantage compared to the enemy team. We have 7k gold on them, and that's because I'm able to carry my team and deal a ton of damage in team fights, and turn those team fights around and make plays, and was able to turn this game around. And even though we may have been losing early game, and Katarina is a good champion to do that. You can't really do that as well with Alistar. What does Alistar bring to the team? Alistar can only give out good CC, good hard CC. He can't really carry a team. Even if he's able to, this guy did a terrible job doing that. That was completely unnecessary. We didn't even have Xin located near us, and if they had forced a fight there, if Jace was here, Jace wasn't here, that's why they didn't force a fight. If they had forced a fight, we would have lost that fight. For sure. Especially without our tanks in here. But anyways, back to the situation. What was I saying? Oh yes, Katarina just carries harder than other champions, and that's why Katarina is a good champion to play at lower elo. If you can play her well and you can guarantee getting fed. But like, for example, it's like the difference between playing a support champion. Actually, trying to give a good example. I mean, like, Alistar is a perfect example, I guess. He can't carry as well as Katarina can. Why? He doesn't have any spammable spells. He doesn't deal a good damage output. Even if he goes AP, his spells are on an extremely long cooldown. And even if he goes AD, heavy tank with Trinity Force, he's not going to deal a significant burst damage, and he's going to have some difficulty being able to take out the enemy carry. So, Alistar, even though he does bring really good hard CC to the table, he doesn't deal enough damage to follow up with that and help his teammates out and carry them. So he can't really carry them. He can set up ganks for his teammates to carry him, if that made any sense at all. I'm not really good at explaining it, but basically it's the same situation with playing supports. There's always going to be somebody was, no, not somebody. Oh, there's always someone. I keep saying always too. Jeez. In a previous tips and tricks video or something, I mentioned that supports can't carry, and a lot of people definitely have taken that the wrong way. I think people misinterpreted what I meant. I have never said that support is not hard to play, or that supports are easy to play. I'm just saying that supports have a more difficult time carrying the game than compared to a solo lane champion or the jungler. Why? Great, you can play support, I can play support Blitzcrank, and I can completely feed my AD carry, and I can give my AD carry like 5 kills at bot lane and completely snowball bot lane and win bot lane because I'm able to get my AD carry fed. But who's carrying the game? Is it the support or the AD carry who has 5 kills on him? In the end, no matter what happens, you're still relying on your carry who you fed yourself to carry the game. He's the one carrying the game, not you. In the end, what happens is if you have a terrible AD carry on a team, no matter how good you are as a support, you can't help your teammates play better. You as a support may know more about the game than your teammates do, but they will still make mistakes that you can't do anything about. For example, earlier today I was playing a game and the AD carry got super fed bot by his support. His support. We had a really good support. He did a really good job. By the way, I messed up here. I didn't use my hourglass. But either way, we had a really good support, and he was able to feed our Graves very, very well. And you know what Graves did? All he did was farm all game. We had 4 team fights or 3 team fights, and he never ever came to help us out. It was great. He had 5 kills, 6. He had 8 kills. He had 8 kills. His support helped him out a lot in lane. He won his lane, but he never helped his team out in team fights. And because of that, we lost the game. Not because of our support, but because the AD carry couldn't carry. He would never be in position to help his team out. So that's what I mean by supports can't carry. No matter how well you do in lane as a support, you're still relying on your teammates to carry you and win the game. Now, see, this is what I mean, what I'm talking about when I'm saying in the Zin's build. Like, you walk pretty quickly with your Trinity Force, but you don't burst people down that quickly. Xin walked all the way from here, cast maybe 3, 4, or 5 audacious strikes on the Jace, and it took him from here to kill him. With my Infinity Edge build, I could probably take Jace out before he could even get to this area. If I had Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer, which is highly possible considering how late it is in the game, yeah, I definitely would have Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer by now, and a GA. But it's just, I want a Xin build that can deal more damage and be a little bit less tanky, because that's the trade-off. There's always going to be a trade-off. You can never be super tanky and deal a ton of damage. Only a few champions can do that, like Jax and Aurelia. It's very, very hard to do. You can't itemize like that. It's all based on the champion you're playing, and there's always going to be trade-offs. For example, right here, Katarina. I can't build her tanky and still deal a ton of damage. I have to trade. I have to choose to get myself a ton of damage and sacrifice survivability for that. And that's what I've done, and that's why I deal a ton of damage, but I'm still extremely squishy, and it's a risk I take. I risk getting caught out and being easily killed off in team fights for the sake of just dealing more damage. And that's based on player style, play style. I like to be a glass cannon. That's just my style of playing. So that also requires you to have a lot of great map awareness, because if you get caught off, you will immediately die. You won't, unlike this Hecarim, who, if Hecarim gets caught out, he can definitely survive. He'll have his ult, he can just keep running away, and they won't be able to chunk him down too easily and kill him out. So yes, just itemization, etc., etc. All right. He's taking this out. By the way, notice how we gave them Baron. I explicitly told Hashinshin and Alistar not to contest Baron. I told them, don't fight the Baron, just give them a free Baron, because it's not worth gambling a Baron when first of all, we don't even have our jungler. Hecarim's dead, so we didn't have a smite, so we couldn't outsmite them. So just from that, you can say that we couldn't even guarantee taking a Baron. Now, what we can try to do is maybe kill 1 or 2 people at Baron, but even that's not guaranteed. So I told my teammates to back off. It's not worth it to try to make a play when you're better off waiting out for it. And then what we did is we waited out for it. Xin went off on Jace instead of going into the Baron pit, and because of that, we picked up a kill. And we gave them Baron, sure, but we guaranteed that they couldn't come back at us. Had this gone the worst case scenario, Xin and Alistar would have died, and all 5 of the enemy teammates would have survived and would have picked up Baron buff. And what they would have done is, after picking Baron buff, they heal and they push down mid, and it would have been a 3 versus 5 scenario, which we would have lost, and they would have pushed and won the game. But instead, by not contesting Baron, we continue this hold we have against the enemy. You'll notice here that we still have total control over the enemy jungle, even though they have Baron buff, and that's because we still have all 5 of our teammates up on the map. The enemy isn't ready. My roommate's sick. Isn't prepared to fight a 5v5 even with Baron buff, because they know that they're super far behind, and that Baron buff may not be enough to help them out. So that's why it's always better to be a little bit more conservative and not contest something when you can't guarantee the best case scenario out of it. Ooh. So we get a good ult off here, and this is, I think, this is the final battle, I guess. I get my Hourglass here just in time. You notice that I got exhausted. Hourglass is also a really good item when you're playing AP carry for countering exhaust instead of sash. What Hourglass does is, if you get exhausted as an AP carry, you can pop your Hourglass, and during that Hourglass timer, not only are you negating damage, you're reducing the timer of that exhaust, and you're wasting the timer on the exhaust that your enemy put on you. And with that, your cooldowns are also going down with that Hourglass, and in the end, it's just better off to use Hourglass when they have exhaust than buying a sash. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed that. If you guys want to see more, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Make sure to check out my stream, because that's where all of my games are actually going on. That's why I'm not putting as many games as I should on YouTube. Anyways, bye.